Mary is a VP of operations at a 400-person logistics company. It's a Tuesday morning, and her best ops lead, the one who runs weekly reporting for the entire division, just gave her 2 weeks' notice. Here's the part that keeps Mary up at night. Somewhere along the way, her ops lead decided to build a set of AI prompts that cut her reporting time from 6 hours a week down to 45 minutes. Nobody told her to do this. She just figured out how to do this on her own. No one wrote it down. No one else knows how it works. And in 14 days, it walks out the door with her. I'm Steve. This is the Blair AI Rollout Podcast. And today we're talking about what happens when your best person quits and takes their AI workflow with them. Let's get into it.
Listen to questions.
This week's question comes from Mary, VP of Operations at a 400-person logistics company. Mary says, Steve, my best ops lead just gave her notice. I just found out she's been using AI to cut her weekly reporting from 6 hours down to 45 minutes, and none of it is documented anywhere. Nobody else knows how it works. I have 2 weeks. What do I do? Mary, this is one of the most common situations I hear about right now, and almost nobody sees it coming. Let's walk through it. When AI adoption happens informally, one person experimenting on their own, quietly getting faster, the knowledge doesn't live in the organization. It lives in that person's head. And anything that only lives in one person's head is one resignation letter away from disappearing. Mary didn't lose an employee. She lost institutional knowledge she didn't even know she had. Here's what makes this different from a normal knowledge transfer problem. When someone leaves and takes a process with them, you usually know what you're losing. You can see the gap. You can plan around it. But when someone leaves and takes an AI workflow with them, one that was never written down, never shared, never officially part of how the team operates, you don't always know what you're losing until it's already gone. The reporting that used to take 6 hours is suddenly taking 6 hours again, and nobody can explain why. Most leaders don't find out how dependent they've become on someone's shadow AI work until that person is already gone. Not because they weren't paying attention, but because informal AI adoption is invisible by design. Nobody announced it. Nobody documented it. It just quietly became load-bearing. Think about what actually happened in Mary's organization. Her ops lead found a problem. 6 hours of reporting every week that felt like it shouldn't take that long. She experimented. She built something that worked. And then she just kept using it. That's not negligence. That's initiative. The problem isn't that she built it. The problem is that the organization never created a way to capture what she built. No documentation process. No workflow library. No expectation that when someone finds a better way to do something, especially with AI, that knowledge gets shared and owned by the team, not just the individual. And that's not Mary's ops lead's fault either. She wasn't asked to document it. She wasn't given a reason to. This is a leadership and systems problem, not a people problem. The fix isn't to stop people from building AI workflows on their own. That instinct, finding tools that make work faster, experimenting, figuring things out, that's exactly what you want a team. The fix is to build a culture where those workflows get captured, documented, and owned by the organization, not by the individual who built them. And Mary, you still have 2 weeks. That's not nothing. That's a window. Sit down with your ops lead before she leaves. Not to guilt her, not to make her feel responsible for a gap she didn't create, but to ask her one thing. Can you walk me through exactly how you do this? Record the conversation. Take notes. Ask her to write down the prompts she uses, the steps she follows, the decisions she makes along the way. You probably won't capture everything, but you'll capture enough to keep the lights on and enough to build a real documentation process, so this never happens the same way twice. Because the goal isn't to slow down your best people. It's to make sure that when they leave, that they take their talent with them, not your process.
AI hot tip.
Here's this week's AI hot tip. This week, before you do anything else, Identify one person on your team who you suspect has built something with AI that nobody else knows about. Could be a reporting shortcut, a prompt they use to summarize meeting notes, a template that speeds up a weekly handoff. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Ask them one question. Can you walk me through how you do that? Then write it down. Even a rough paragraph. Even a voice memo you transcribe later. It doesn't have to be perfect. That 5-minute conversation is the beginning of organizational AI memory. An organizational AI memory is what separates a team that grows its capability over time from a team that starts over every time someone leaves. One conversation this week. 3 things to take with you today. 1. Informal AI adoption is invisible until it isn't. When someone builds a workflow on their own and never documents it, the organization doesn't own it. That person does. And when they leave, it leaves with them. 2. This isn't a people problem. It's a systems problem. Your team's instinct to experiment and find faster ways to work is exactly what you want. What you need to build around that instinct is a way to capture what they find. 3. If you're married right now, you still have 2 weeks. Use them. Sit down with your ops lead, record the conversation, write down the prompts. You won't get everything, but you'll get enough to build from. And then build the process that means you never lose it the same way twice. If today's episode hit close to home, if you heard yourself in Mary's situation, here's your next step. Head over to do.FULL.com/start. Take the free AI readiness score. This gives you a documented baseline of exactly where your organization stands. The kind of honest starting point that turns a vague assignment into a real plan. Link is in the show notes. And if you've got a question you're wrestling with, something you haven't said out loud yet, send it to steve@blairts.com. I read every one. Your question could be the next episode. I'm Steve. This is the Blair AI Rollout Podcast. Let's roll this out the right way.